Hey, I'm Brian. I'm one of the founders of Doppler and CEO. But I kind of just want to talk to you developer to developer. So I'm a developer at heart, even though I don't get to do it a lot on a daily basis. I think like a developer and have been a developer my entire life. And I kind of want to take a couple moments to share with you guys how I think about secrets management, especially in like a video format, because I'm one of those readers who like read something for like 5 minutes in and I'm like, oh my God, there looks like a full essay here. I'm going to just go and see if there's a video option. So for the people like me, I figured why not just do a video recording as well. And we can kind of talk a little bit about secrets today, what they are, what the kind of world looks like, and why it's broken, and what we can do to fix it as a community. So first off, what are secrets? Secrets are API keys, database URL, certificates, generally things that your application will need to boot up. So maybe you're using Stripe, and Stripe offers you an API key that allows your code to talk to Stripe, and as authenticated as that workplace. Or maybe you're using a database and you need a database URL so your code can talk to the database. So it's generally highly sensitive information. Things that, and most importantly, because it's super sensitive, you don't really want to store it in something in an unencrypted format like in code or in an env file, right? If you put it in code and you commit it, well, now it's in commit history forever, unless you go through some massive pruning process that kind of just purges it from history, which is really, really annoying and super dangerous. And you don't want to store an env file because for a lot of reasons. There's productivity issues, but most importantly, from a security side, you have your secrets unencrypted on disk, right? And when everyone's using an env file, it makes it really, really hard to collaborate as a team, right? If I have an env file and you have an env file, and it's kind of like our master list of secrets for development or for production or wherever it may be, I have to share that env file with you over Slack or email or some other tool that also isn't made for storing the literal keys to your kingdom. And so what ends up happening is you have it both in an unencrypted place, which is insecure, and then you're sharing it over an insecure medium like email, and it's just asking for a leak to happen someday in the future. And a lot of times like as we're seeing like with Twitch and stuff, it's not like you make a mistake now and all of a sudden it goes public and we all pay the price. It's usually like you make a mistake and then years later someone else does something or something else happens and a leak happens or a breach happens. So it's really, really important that we keep these secrets out of unencrypted places like hard-coded in your applications or env files or anything else, like maybe a YAML file or something. People find a lot of creative ways of storing their secrets because they want to move fast, they want to be productive. And I think it's important to just like take a second and think, like, what do these secrets actually represent? Well, they represent access to a lot of critical systems, like Stripe for payments, Twilio for messaging, or a database, which can hold a variety of data in it. And when those secrets get out in the public, it can have real damage, and not just to like you as a developer, but like, and not even just to your company, but like the users that your company services, right, or the users that you have in your project. And so it's really, really important that just. And I used to, by the way, I never used to think about it this way before starting Doppler. I always focused on just pushing out code as fast as possible to get the features to users as fast as possible. And secrets were really just like a tool that I had in my toolbox to kind of get the whole thing running, just like Slack's a tool or SendGrid's a tool for email. And I really just thought of secrets and env files as just a tool. But the thing is, those tools have a lot of risk associated with them. And a lot of customers trust you when they're using your company to keep their data secure. They're basically, when a user signs up for your website, they're not just getting the value out of your product. They're trusting you with their data. And it's very easy, especially when you're just thinking about let's move fast, let's ship features, to forget about that and to forget that those secrets that you have on your computer or in production or wherever it may be is actually really, really sensitive stuff that, if ever got out, could really destroy someone's life. Like in a very tangible way, right? We like to think of users as like these, like, oh, I have user A, user B, or UUID 1, UUID 2, or whatever, but there's actually a real person behind that UUID, behind that user. And one simple mess up can really destroy someone's life and destroy the brand of the company or the project. So I think it's really important, first off, to just say, hey, secrets are important. And to take a step back a little bit, now that we've talked about why secrets are important, I kind of see applications as a sum of three main things. code, compute, and secrets. And we have amazing collaboration tools today for code, right? Like GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket if you want to include it. And for compute, compute's readily available, right? We have personal computers, we have AWS, we have GCP, we have newer clouds like Vercel and Netlify that offer amazing streamlined ways to both collaborate in and for compute, like with Vercel, or just get compute across an edge network, so it's readily available for every user. So we have a lot of innovation happening in compute. And then secrets. And secrets has kind of been like, I like kind of think about it like as an unsexy child of an application, right? Nobody's put a lot of effort into it. And the tools that were built are generally built for security people. And so maybe super secure, but it's also really, really hard to use. And that's what I found when I was working on a previous project. It was a crypto machine learning marketplace. Long story short, I could not get it off the ground. And I started looking at all the problems I was facing while working on it. And managing secrets or environment variables was just really, really painful in a lot of different ways. And when I talked to other founders, I realized they were struggling as well, and other developers. And it's because the tools really weren't meant for developers. They were meant for the security team. And so they were incredibly robust, but they were also really hard to use. And as a developer, I'm like I think of developers, and myself, I'm included as one of them, as a window shopper. I go and I think in 5-minute intervals, right? I have this problem. Can I go find it really easily? So I check Google, and if I can find a thing on Google in 5 minutes, well, then I'm going to go and I'm going to look at the website. Okay, in 5 minutes, where am I able to see that this can roughly give me the value I want? Great. Then I'll spend another 5 minutes signing up and trying it out. And I'm just 5 minutes in, 5 minutes in, 5 minutes in. And if you're a developer and you're building for developers, you really need to make sure that within 5 minutes they can see the value of the product. And a lot of these tools were just not that at all. They either had on-prem setups or really complicated SDKs, and it would take me a couple hours or days to get it up and running. So I couldn't find anything that worked for me, and that's why I started Doppler. And I think generally outside of Doppler, the industry needs tooling around this that is made for developers to store secrets in a collaborative fashion. So one thing I want to do is kind of propose a new format, a new category of tooling called a Universal Secrets Platform. And the basic idea of a Universal Secrets Platform is it's a central source of truth for developers across all their projects, environments like development, staging, production, across all their cloud infrastructure and all their devices like personal computers and users. It's just like that one central source of truth. You can kind of think about an analogy would be like GitHub, right, with code, right, or GitLab. It's your one central source of truth where you push your code. And you may use it locally, but then you're going to push it to GitHub. And then GitHub will, when you're ready, push it to production like AWS. Same type of thing, one central source of truth, but instead of for code, it's for secrets. And it has to support every type of developer, from a back-end developer, a full-stack developer, and across all the specialities and also, all the skill sets. So that really means also junior developers too. Like, I think the best tools will be ones that support students that are just learning, where they're like, oh, I've been coding for like 5 months or 4 months, and this is my second computer science class, and I can see the value of the Secrets Manager, Secrets Platform, Universal Secrets Platform. And I think the last thing that's also really important outside of, actually two more things. One is that it needs to support every type of language, framework, and operating system, right? It really needs to universally work wherever developers are developing and deploying. The last thing is that it really needs to give developers back some productivity, right? So I kind of love the saying is make vegetables taste like candy. I'm a little bit overweight, and my entire childhood I never really ate vegetables. Why? Because they kind of tasted bad, in my opinion. But if someone said, hey, these vegetables tasted like candy, I would have definitely ate it. And so I really think a Universal Secrets Platform is one that gives an hour or two of time back to a developer, and in exchange, because they love it so much and they're using it and they're getting more productive, the company gets far more secure by using a secrets platform to store their secrets, right? And remember, a Universal Secrets Platform kind of has all the trimmings of a security product. So it's encrypted in both storage and or at rest and in transit, and all the other fun things like access controls and maybe enterprise key management if you want to control the encryption of those secrets and so on. And so really, it's just the whole goal of this is like, let's build a tool a category of tools, and Doppler is one of them. But I encourage other people to come into the space too, because really it's about solving the problem for the industry. That enables developers to move really fast, so they don't. If anything, they move faster by using this type of tool. And in exchange, the company and the product get more secure. Now, you may be thinking, well, that's great. A security tool that makes developers productive, that's nice to say, but actually, how does that happen? Well, I'll give you a couple examples. I kind of like to think about it as like, let's say I have an ENV file and you have an ENV file. Or another way of saying is I have a Word document, you have a Word document. Well, if 4 or 5 people or your team are working on a Word document before the likes of Google Docs existed, when I make a change, I have to send it to you over email, and you have to figure out what change and do some surgical merge resolution. And when you have like 5 people, and it gets really, really complicated. Well, when you have a single source of truth, it's kind of like one living document, like Google Docs, right? If I make a change, every developer on the team immediately gets that update. Or if you make a change in production, your production infrastructure immediately gets that change. And so now there's no more of this thing of like, oh, I pulled in the latest code from Git, and all of a sudden, boom, my code is broken because I'm missing a secret, right? So that's one very, very simple way that you can offer tooling to developers that actually meaningfully makes their lives a little bit more productive. Another one is secrets referencing. So imagine you have a secret that is the same across multiple projects or environments, right? So a common thing that you'll see is like a port variable, right? 8080 or 443 or whatever it may be. And instead of copying and pasting again and again and again and again, you can reference it because it's all in a central source of truth, kind of like a variable. And so if you have it in one place and you reference it everywhere else, when you make that change, well, everywhere else gets that update. So that's like a really powerful way to give productivity back to developers. Instead of pinging everyone on Slack and being like, hey, don't forget to change your port to 8080, and then also copy and paste that into production and staging and all the other environments 20, 30 different times, you can just click the save button once and it's done. So those are some of the things that, and there's a lot of other things that universal secrets platforms can do that Doppler hasn't even thought of. And I'm sure there's some things that we haven't even announced that are on a roadmap. So there's really a lot of room here to make developers' lives meaningfully more productive while also making their applications far, far more secure. And so my hope is, after this super long-winded video, 12 minutes long, thank you so much for bearing with me so far, that you walk away and you're like, hey, secrets are actually important. It's not just about moving fast, but it's about making sure that we honor the responsibility we have to our customers and to our users for keeping their data secure. And that there are tools that you can build that will actually meaningfully make developers more productive while also making the applications more secure. And as an industry, we should figure that out together. I think Doppler is going to be one good example of that, but I welcome all the other companies to do it as well and figure out what works for them. And last thing I'll note is that there's, you may be saying, well, what about secrets managers? Like AWS Secrets Manager has one, GCP Secrets Manager, Vercel has something built in, and so does Heroku and all these others. I like to think of those instead of actual managers. They're really storage locations, right? They're key value storage. There's no actual management going on. It's just encrypted storage. And so I would encourage you to think of those as destinations, kind of like AWS is a destination for your code, right? You don't push your code directly into AWS. You push it to GitHub, and GitHub ships it to AWS. Same type of thing. Think of those secrets managers as destinations, and we welcome them. They're great assets in the security and DevOps landscape. I'm not saying by any means remove them. I'm saying we actually should build tooling to work with them, right? They are really good at serving secrets to applications and production workloads. Now the job of a universal secrets platform is to ship those secrets into like AWS or GCP so your applications can use them. So we already have a lot of the tools today to do this correctly. We just need one thing in the center to kind of wrap it all up in a bow. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. I'm a developer. I'm not perfect by any means. I'm sure this video is a little choppy in some ways, but thanks for taking the time to watch this, and I hope it sparks some curiosity in your mind about how we can improve secrets together. Thank you so much.